we're in the Bay. We're going to talk a lot of football today. But there's just something about this mentality. So let me just throw it out there. Mike McCarthy's back for the Dallas Cowboys. How you feel?
I'm pissed off. And Sirianni is back for the Eagles.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I get playoff disappointment. But I'm looking at Mike McCarthy, came in, they were 6-10. He's had 3, and listen, I am not here to argue with Guru that McCarthy should not be fired.
But you're hearing the noise just around all coaches now.
I want to know what people place the most importance. So obviously the playoffs are important. But I'm just saying to Goo, dude, they've had 3 straight 12-5 years. I get they haven't been able to get it done in the postseason, but for 1 win over Tampa Bay during the last 3 years. So you really want him fired?
Yes.
How come?
Because the 12 wins is an emphasis on the talent that you have. So I'm not giving you credit. It's a good job, but you got damn near 9 All-Pros. So what happens on the big stage when you got to take the final exam? You come out here last year against the Niners where they tried to give you the game and you couldn't take it. Then you play a 7th seed when you're the 2 seed at home and you got the easiest, allegedly, track to the NFC Championship or Super Bowl, and you're the first team ever, a 2 seed, to lose to a 7 seed. The point was it was 27-0. So miss me with the pop quizzes because I'm going to judge you, Steiny, on the final exam. And you showed me you can't get your team prepared. To me, there's no coming back from that.
Okay, so question for you. But when we talk about the final exam, so in theory, didn't the Cowboys go into the final exam with a B+ for the
for the year?
Okay, so
yes.
then they got an F.
Right.
Then they failed the final.
It was worse than the F.
Let's give them a D-.
Okay, D-.
D-.
Yeah.
So then their overall grade's like a B-.
But what's your ultimate goal from any coach you employ?
Win the Super Bowl.
And, okay, so then you have much success in the regular season and gets a lesser team. You can't get your guys to show what you've shown for 17 weeks. That's a problem. That was embarrassing. They almost put up a 50-burger. We're not the Niners, Green Bay. So, Steiny, that tells me when on the biggest stage with the most pressure, you can't tap into your Bill Belichick. You can't do Bill Cowher. You can't be Kyle Shanahan. So to me, that would make me move off. And you know what I would do? Hey, maybe I'll find a coach that gets us 10 wins in the regular season, but when it's go time in the playoffs, maybe he has a wherewithal to get the guys to rally, get confidence, and maybe go further, because that is what I want from my coach. Not regular season wins, playoff wins that takes guts. That's all I'm asking for, man. Not this.
So
this.
Who do you blame for their 1 in what? They're 1-3.
He's 1-3 since he's been there.
Okay, so let's just take the game they lost to the Packers.
Oh my! Was that want to call it a game?
Were they just overwhelmed?
They were
physically
outcoached. They were out-schemed.
Okay.
They were out-coached everywhere. That's just a fact. LaFleur is going to get his ass kicked this Saturday against Kyle because Kyle knows what he's doing. He knows where to attack. I thought McCarthy had turned the corner. So as a fan, Steiny, all I want from my coaching staff is to have confidence that, hey, we can lose 17-13. We can lose 20-10. I know the ball bounces different ways, but when you're out schemed and you're not ready, it's time to move on.
Man. And I guess what I'm getting at, honestly, is you're telling me you would want your McCarthy fired. Like, I came in here yesterday, and we had a fun discussion on Purdy and Kyle and who the pressure's on. I mean, if you're telling me, like, I guess any coach is 1 year away from being on the hot seat. I mean, is that kind of really
that's the world
is that
we live
really
in,
what we're talking about?
Well, not here.
Okay, Well, but that's kind of what I'm talking about.
He's got some skins on the wall, though, Matt.
He's never won a Super Bowl.
But
McCarthy has more skins on the wall.
Okay.
McCarthy has more skins on the wall than Kyle Shanahan.
In another city. But since he's been employed in Dallas, he's 1-3. And the games that he loses are not even close. That's what I was just going to point out to Kyle real quick. Even those games on the biggest stage, Steiny, the Niners aren't, well, they got blown out last year without their quarterback. But you know what I mean. For all I'm asking for is 15 rounds.
You said something that I've always been fascinated with. Mike McCarthy didn't have him ready.
Oh, there's no doubt.
Whose responsibility is it for a player to be ready?
The coach.
Is it?
Oh, there's no doubt.
So you believe a coach in the professional ranks must motivate?
No doubt, and that's why I'm a Harbaugh fan. I think John Harbaugh motivates. But I think Kyle motivates.
No, he doesn't.
By fear, Steiny, by fear.
So how did he get him to 12 wins the last 3 years? McCarthy.
I'm gonna give him some positives by coming up with good offensive schemes and being able to show your best and put your best foot forward when the pressure is not there of win or go home. There's always next week. You know what I mean? So guys are able to let them hang because they know the finality is not there. But they were Darth Vader from the outset.
How many Cowboy fans?
And I'm mad at the quarterback. We're using Dallas in this instance.
Okay, yeah.
But I'm mad at the quarterback too because he looked like he was somewhere else. He said my mind was moving faster than my body. That's when the coach is, hey, how you feeling, Steiny? Evan, Spadoni, how you doing? You good?
Too late for that.
Like Jimmy Johnson on Fox, did you see the halftime? He did a speech that I would have run. Like, that's what they needed to hear.
Well, that's high school stuff.
See, I think that's where you missed.
See, I do not think I mean, you can say he motivates by fear. Kyle Shanahan takes, to me, when he looks at the San Francisco 49ers and he's getting them ready for a game, the one thing he doesn't F with at all or worry about at all is that they're going to be ready to play.
Because they never have not been.
Right.
And that's a credit to him. Like, he don't got to break a stick or throw something at the chalkboard.
I'm just saying, you don't.
It's a respect thing, too. Like what the Eagles did to Sirianni, let me know. If I'm an Eagle fan, you can't bring him back. I feel like the players quit. I could be wrong, Steiny. It looked like they quit. Like, hey, you know what I mean? They quit. And that's the biggest.
That's the strongest. Did the Cowboys quit?
I think they did.
And the Eagles quit.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
I mean, so this is where I think we can sometimes get
The Eagles were in the game
overdramatic.
closer. The Eagles showed up more than Dallas did. But I'm telling you, man, Kyle Shanahan, as much as I throw stuff at him.
Well, no. If they lose to the Packers, he's 1 year away from being Mike McCarthy. No, he is. No. We can't ignore that. Like, listen, I'm not saying, Mike McCarthy won a Super Bowl.
And yet he's coming back.
He won a Super Bowl.
I got you.
Now he's taken a team to the playoffs 3 straight years with 12 wins. 12-5, 12-5, 12-5. 1 year they won a playoff game. They're 1-3 in his tenure. Like, if you're telling me that you wish he were fired, well, I'm telling you right now, then Kyle Shanahan or any coach is 1 year away from being on the hot seat. And you know what?
Yeah.
I don't like to think about, what's the worst case scenario? You get beat by the Packers. And Purdy struggles, and now we're coming into next year. You got to look at it like that. I'm actually agreeing with you.
Well,
if you're telling me you want
Okay.
McCarthy fired, then no coach is safe with more than like one bad year.
I don't like that.
Well, I know you don't, but it's who you are as a fan, and it's who fans are, and I get it.
Well, let me tell you where I veer off from you. Kyle Shanahan has enough skins on the wall, Steiny, to where if we saw one guy struggle and maybe one guy had a bunch of fumbles, we could identify how and what contributed to the team losing. This was a team-wide failure on both sides of the ball. So if you tell me Brock struggles, I'm not going to come in here and tell you Kyle's no good. He should be ran. They might
not this year.
Okay, right.
But at the end of next year?
Oh, well.
Again, what I'm saying is I'm just saying I'm putting two or three things together. Yesterday, I came in here and I said, Kyle's a made man. I think there's more pressure on Purdy because Purdy, like, Kyle's going to be the coach forever. Okay. Now Mike McCarthy is back. You're a Cowboy fan and you're fuming. Whether you're not happy.
Yeah, the world.
You're not happy.
Non-Cowboy fans
now,
are laughing
right,
that he came back.
Okay, and I get that right now Shanahan is enjoying more. He's thought more highly of than Mike McCarthy.
Oh, no doubt.
But the bottom line is, I'm going to say it again. If you're telling me that you want Mike McCarthy fired, who, by the way, I'm going to call you every single time you say skins on the wall again because McCarthy has one and your boy doesn't. Right. So if you're telling me McCarthy goes 12-5, 12-5, 12-5, 1-3 in the playoffs, you want him fired, well, then I'm here to tell you that if the 49ers get beat by the Packers this weekend,
that would not be a good look.
And they come into next year, and it's all of a sudden we're not that sure about Purdy. And then next year gets a little. I don't think there's any coach that has more than 1 year of a grace period now. The more I think, you know what? How about this? I'll give you the argument yesterday now on Purdy. There's more pressure on Purdy.
You know what?
I'm sorry. There's more pressure on Shanahan.
I talked to Monte last night.
No, you're right. Yeah, more pressure on Shanahan.
We had that conversation. He brought it up. He said he was. I was like, but
because if you're telling me that Kyle Shanahan, because I think it's within the realm of possibility that Kyle Shanahan, would they go this year 12-5, 12-5? I think it's within the realm of possibility they could go 12-5, not win the Super Bowl. Next year go 12-5 and not win the Super Bowl.
But where do they get?
Then he gets fired, right?
NFC no, Steiny.
I said they lose to the Packers. Then next year they win a playoff and lose a playoff.
That would be a monumental disappointment.
Right? Is it fireable for Kyle?
Okay, listen. I can be objective, and this is how I'm going to answer your question because it's nuanced, Steiny. What's one of your lines? Guru, I don't care, but you got to care here. I'm talking about the court of public opinion, the fan base, the confidence. That is different than what he has in regard to his contract. He's a made man when it comes to York. I'm talking about Kyle, if he didn't win the next 4 Super Bowls. I'm talking about where he's at now.
I disagree with that now.
And what his brand is, Kyle Shanahan, and how the fans look at him. Right. It is right there like a piñata. It is, and no blindfold. It is, all you got to do is hit it, and the rings are going to come out. So if he were somehow to slip up and not get it done, I think a lot of fans – The next 2 years, a lot of fans would be like, what the F is going on, Kyle? You were brilliant, but we expect – this team is loaded.
Well, so if they get to the Super Bowl this year and they lose to the Ravens, then I will say, to my way of thinking –
he'd be 0-2.
Right, but they lost to 2 teams, to me, that were better.
And then there's nothing to see here.
Yeah,
and you're probably going to be right.
Yeah. Now, but again, all I'm saying is – if we're going to apply the same standards to McCarthy, well, then I'm just saying neither Kyle Shanahan nor any coach, to me, it feels like it's more than 1 year away from a hot seat.
Wow. And we're in a microwave society now, it or not.
Right.
Yeah, no, because you've seen people, I mean, people have a vested interest. Listen, the Niner fans love the Niners. You love your team. But with social media and all the internet, Steiny, I was a fan without the internet. I had to look at the Tribune or the Argus. My point is, the whole league is our teams. We watch the Warriors. We know what's going on in Clipperville. We know what's going on in Miami. So my point is, we all got our hand on what's going on in every city with every team and every organization. And right now, I'm telling you, I'm up here riding for a Super Bowl, a non-Super Bowl winning coach in Kyle Shanahan, because I know what he brings to the table. And if I were to tell you right now, look at me and tell me how many times the Niners were unprepared or didn't show up during
5.
It might be less than that. You know what I mean? That 3-game losing streak, okay, no Trent, no Debo, but they're always prepared outside of losing your quarterback on the fly.
How much do you blame McCarthy versus Why don't you say, you know what? Dak Prescott's not very good. Why don't you say, like, if Dak Prescott gets lemon booty, why is that McCarthy's fault?
And this is new for you. I've always said a quarterback is the extension of the head coach. So you got to know Dak has had failure. The one thing that you're going to do if we lose the game is Dak can't look like a deer in headlights, and he looked like Bambi from the outset. And you're over there talking to him 4 minutes after the first drive. What was being said? You need a volume? You okay, son? You need a diaper change? And the game played out that way. That's all, Matt.
36 and 15.
So you don't believe in rah-rah.
36 and 15 over the last 3 years. You're getting rid of that guy.
But 1-3 in the playoffs.
Right. Super Bowl champion coach. Like, see, this is where I do believe. This is where I do believe, like, if McCarthy coached any other team but the Cowboys, you'd give him more credit for the fact that he won a freaking he's won a Super Bowl. Kyle hasn't. Like, to me, like, oftentimes you'll say, end of story. Like, McCarthy.
But he had one of the greatest quarterbacks. I can't take anything away from him, but when he got it, he had one of the greatest quarterbacks. I could say
Kyle Shanahan's got one of the most loaded teams I've seen in the NFL in 20 years.
Right now.
Yeah, that's right.
But he had, in 19, Jimmy Garoppolo in the Super Bowl going up against Patrick Mahomes, which were night and day.
Yeah.
So
right, and McCarthy got a team there and won.
Jimmy,
right, McCarthy McCarthy never blew a 10-point lead in the Super Bowl. And listen, I'm not arguing anything other than, you know what? Yesterday, I guess you guys are right. Shanahan's got more. Like, to me, Shanahan now has more. Don't overthink it.
Okay.
He's got to win a Super Bowl. Like, the goal is the Super Bowl this year, and if he doesn't win the Super Bowl, it almost feels like it'll be a mark against him.
Because they're
if they go 2-1 again in the playoffs. That'll make him what, Evan? 8-4 in the postseason. 667 winning percentage. Like, the list of coaches who have coached 12 postseason games with a 667 winning percentage is probably unbelievably rare.
But isn't the goal to get that ring?
What's Don Shula's
I'm sure it's
playoff record?
But isn't the goal to get the ultimate ring?
So what? You're close. You're 1 year away from possibly assessing Kyle Shanahan in terms of whether he can or can't do it for the rest of his career.
See, I love how you do it. You put me in that corner. I'm telling you, man, I'm not saying that for Kyle.
I guess I don't understand why Kyle could fail theoretically this year and not be on the hot seat, but a coach like McCarthy, you want him to be fired, even though, again, he's got more pelts on the wall.
Briefly here.
888-957-9570 is the number. Listen, I'm not arguing any kind of strong point other than cut that one. No, but you're
seeing what you're hearing in the world, and I appreciate you not just putting it on my shoulders.
I get playoff disappointment.
Okay, let me tell you something.
McCarthy's.
Let me tell you the difference.
I'm just saying we're much closer to Kyle Shanahan getting fired or being on a hot seat. Like, that doesn't even register to me. But you're right. It should if they have a poor playoff this year.
Okay, but what about this point? And I think this is a Dominique Wilkins slam dunk, and I gotta bring it home and deliver it. Dak Prescott was an MVP candidate. Under Mike McCarthy, he's lost to Jimmy Garoppolo at home in a playoff game. He's lost to Brock Purdy with this same MVP candidate in Dak Prescott, and he just lost to a rookie in Jordan Love. That's a trifecta. Hold on real quick.
48
Kyle
points.
Shanahan has taken the Tin Man in Jimmy Garoppolo and instilled in him the secret sauce and got him to a Super Bowl. And then on the fly, he takes Mr. Irrelevant to the NFC Championship game. Hold on, Matt. So to me, That is brilliance in itself about whatever you're changing the oil with and the spark plugs. It's working.
What is it?
But the guy over here that's a little overweight, needs soda, has the best quarterback, but can't beat you.
Oh, so now Prescott's the best quarterback?
No, he's better and more experienced than Garoppolo.
Is he better than Purdy?
Yeah, come on. Last year
Prescott?
he was. You had more confidence in Dak Prescott than Purdy last year. And the game was right there for you to win. The game was there. It was there for Dak, and he had arguably one of his worst showings. So that's lemon booty, Matt.
Right? That's not McCarthy's fault. You got a choke artist at the helm.
So has a boxer ever fired his guy, his ring man?
Of course.
That's all I'm saying.
Hey, the one thing I do want to get into, it was the McCarthy thing. Oh.
That was therapeutic for me. Thank you, man.
Well, good. But, it's the same old thing. It's like, what point are you making? Well, it depends. Do I want to rip Kyle Shanahan for being a choke artist and a guy who's lost leads and a guy who can't win the big one? If I need that argument, I got that one. But if also I need to use he's the greatest tactician of all time, skins on the wall, he's got a Super Bowl in my mind.
Before you go to break, Mike McCarthy, it's not the first time he's lost as a heavy favorite at home. Okay.
Well, he's overweight. Of course he has.
That didn't even register to get a one. Yeah, what does that mean?
He's lost as a heavy favorite. I said he's a little overweight. Of course he has.
I might check the tape.
You know what? Can you guys please try to go from A to B?
That was pretty.